What's up, everybody? I'm back. This is Kyle. Once again, I've been your host a lot of the day. I'm going to bring Jen King in. We're going to hang out for a minute while we wait for our next panel. I know she wasn't expecting this.
Nah, I'm always good for whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll just hang out. Our next guest is scheduled to be Tom Hutchinson of Big Dog Inc. We are waiting to hear from him as to whether or not he's going to be able to make it. So we'll just hang out. So you're having fun?
I'm having so much fun. There's like every time you have something that's a totally live event, you know that something's not going to be kind of like a little bit wonky. It was so funny because Bill Miles, that is the young, he's 17 now, but when he first did the book, he was a 16-year-old. He was at work. He actually doesn't know Eastern time, but so he was at work when I poked him and I said, "Hey man, we're live now." And so you could see him like at his work in the back room trying to make it happen.
Hey, I just appreciate that he tried to make it work. You know, it's one of those things is that he could have just said, I'm out. You know, we messed it up. We didn't get it right. Whatever. I'm just gonna, hold off. But he rushed home or did whatever he did and got it square and came on and made a pitch at the end, which is huge.
Yeah, I think that I kind of wish, and I think that the audience really wanted to spend more time talking to him, because it is very interesting to see someone that's done so well really early on, and that whole like the revelation that he was talking about, that he just thought he was going to write the comic and then the rest of it was going to kind of happen naturally, and didn't really understand the rest of the process. And his realization was it's expensive to make a comic.
Yeah, no, it's hard work, and that's part of why I wanted that group of guys, because I knew what Lime had been through, and I'm hearing from Tom.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it looks like he has done all the legwork, years and years and years.
Yes, he'd worked really hard, and I knew Russell had worked really hard on protecting and building his brand in a very specific way. And I've talked to Russell several times. He's got very strong and great ideas about how to really make it and make this your living. He had a podcast called The Complete Creative that's still out there and you can listen to, that just recently ended. That was a great resource for creators. I'm not even a creator, but I went and listened to every episode because Russell gets it. He gets that branding and that thought. And I knew Zing had been through so much of that stuff as well. Jing, I mispronounced it. Jing had been through so much of that stuff as well, building symphonic verses and his world. And I knew that William Miles was new. And I thought if anybody can teach these guys, we can work with William. It's those guys. Tom, you look like you're in the middle of either shipping or you working for the post office.
I am shipping. I am working with somebody right now who's grading a ton of our books. I just launched a Kickstarter this morning. It is all chaos, and that is what comics is, and that's okay. And that is why I'm late, because I also thought that we were talking about 6 p.m. my time and not your time, but here we are.
Yeah, no, it's half the year. It's my time. It's your time.
Yeah,
yeah, and I'll be honest. We were talking about how there's always a little something that happens. We had a guest in our last panel who did the same thing. Misconstrued the time, was at work, like doing his day job, and he's like, "Oh crap, hold on." But he came and he made a strong pitch for his book, and it was great. And you guys haven't seen it on the back end, but I've been literally recoding the website by hand as we go today because we had a problem with a backup last night. So I'm literally rebuilding our website for the experience.
Wow.
And in between doing these interviews, I literally spent the last hour fighting with YouTube to get the embed code to work right. And it turns out YouTube's just broke. So I'm embedding our Twitch, and it's fine. Like, it's just figure it out and go from there. So, Tom, tell us, you launched a Kickstarter this morning.
Yes.
Start there. Tell us about the Kickstarter.
4 hours ago, in the olden days, we launched The Legend of Oz: The Wicked West to Kickstarter this morning. I'm a disaster because I've been doing that while packaging, and like I said, we're working with some graders right now on some books. So Legend of Oz: The Wicked West is celebrating 10 years of existence this year. This is the 21st issue of the book that we have kickstarted, but it is also a perfect starting point for anyone who has not gotten involved yet. It is a Western reimagining of the Wizard of Oz. So instead of ruby slippers, Dorothy's got ruby spurs, ruby bullets, Toto's her horse, and so on. So we funded the campaign in an hour. We are already right on the cusp of unlocking stretch goal number 1. We have 130 backers. It's going tremendous. So we couldn't be happier.
You are a master at a Kickstarter, at the crowd.
No. There are those that are masters. I am merely an apprentice, but I do my job well.
Well, I say that, and I knew you were gonna give me some. No, that ain't true. But every project you put up there backs in just a couple of hours. Backs so fast.
Yeah, every campaign that we've done has funded within an hour or less.
What do you attribute that to?
I think that, well, what I have, not to like go into what I have that you don't have, but the reality is that I have 10 years of doing this under my belt, going into year 11 now. So the one thing that I have that is an immediate help for these types of things, Kickstarters, crowdfunding of any kind, etc., is a track record and a following that already exists. I'm not coming out into 2021 with my first book, with artists that people don't know, etc. That's the real challenge. But for me, it's like I can already reach out to a group of people and say, hey, Oz is back, Penny for Your Soul is back, Critter's back, Ursa Minor's back, whatever. There's already a following for the book. There's already a following for Big Dog Inc. There's already a following for me. And they are ready, willing, and able to support Big Dog, the book, and all of the artists that are, part of the campaign, which is another key element is you want to work with artists for these covers and variants and exclusives that the fan base also knows. And, and then you just run with it.
So you're celebrating the 10th year. You just mentioned it, the 10th year.
Yeah.
You of Big Dog, and you already have celebrated with 2 books already, in Penny and
Critter.
Oh, Critter, yes.
Yeah, those were our official 10-year anniversary books from last year. Those are the books we started with 10 years ago, and now Legend of Oz is on its unique 10-year anniversary.
So I want to ask about the covers you did for the Comic Book Shopping Network.
Sure, yeah.
Those were so amazing. So how have the covers of the Big Dog Inc. books affected the way you approach, you're celebrating your 10th anniversary?
Right. Well, we did the final 2 books that we did last year that you're talking about for CBSN. We did them as we call them Diamond Anniversary covers. That's sort of the modern 10-year anniversary is the Diamond Anniversary. I think it's like aluminum in the old ways, but modern times it's a Diamond Anniversary. So we basically had a big diamond put on the cover. The characters are sitting on the diamonds. It's a nice presentation. It's all black so that the diamonds can really sparkle. You got a really nice shot of the characters. Justin Hunt did both of them. Sanju Nivengoon was on the colors. So they came out fantastic. And we just wanted to do something at the end of the year. Last year was so chaotic. I mean, not that 2021 is really starting any better necessarily, but last year was so chaotic and people were just so all over the place that I was like, look, let's just do one final thing to celebrate the 10 years. And Justin Hunt came through, did those covers, and they look great. So they are part of the Comic Book Shopping Network group of vendors. I wasn't the only one selling them. Jesse James has them, Jen Kings has them, Timmy Heek has them, and so on and so on. So a lot of the vendors on the Comic Book Shopping Network bought a bunch of copies and sold them to their fans, as well as, me just saying, hey, we've made another set of covers for you.
So one of the things that you've done that I come on these shows a lot and watch you do them, is you do a lot of stuff on Facebook and Instagram. You do a lot of live broadcasts, including a lot of just talking to people. I mean, I've sat and watched videos of you opening your mail, talking about fantasy football. I mean,
we had one chat that I don't remember what I was doing. I was signing cards or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I have to sign cards, so I'm going to sit here and you can talk with me, because I don't want to sit here by myself and sign cards. So we had a chat, and basically I was like, look, we don't have to talk comics. We can talk whatever you want. And suddenly somebody was like, so should I buy a Sony or a Blaupunkt or a Klipsch, like home theater system? And that just happened to be something that I knew about, and he didn't know that, but I knew about it, and I started going off on home theater on this this chat. So it was super fun, and a lot of times that's better than just being like, hey, buy my book. You want to show people that you're a collector, you're a fan, you're as involved in all of this stuff as they are. And in fact, I just got 2 graded books that came in that I bought that just came in today. I haven't even opened the box yet because I've been so busy. But they're old school Marvel Transformers books, and I'm like, oh my God, yes, I want these. So it's one thing to be marketing all the time. It's another to kind of get to know the people that are buying your books and let them get to know you too.
That was exactly what I was going to ask. Have you seen a change in the way your customers interact with your brand because you've become more of a personality rather than just the publisher, the guy at the
God help us if I'm a personality, man. I don't know what a personality means anymore. If I'm a personality, I am hyper introvert, guys. I do this primarily, honestly, because I have to. It is a must-do thing in our world, COVID or not. It is just a must-do thing. When I started doing the CBSN shows, I got my feet wet a little bit helping Jesse James do his shows, and which was good, because when I finally did mine on my own, I was like, what do I do? What do I say? How do I do any of this? I was panicked. But people were like, dude, you had such a great show. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know what I was doing. So it's been a learning process. I think a lot of people make the mistake of coming on social media and doing these videos and just saying, yeah, I write a book and you can buy it on this website like that. No one cares. Tell me inspiration for your book. Tell me where it came from. Tell me what you're collecting. Tell me what movie you saw. Tell me if you like or hate Wonder Woman. Whatever. Just be, like you said, be the personality. And I do get. There's a lot of regular folks that we have with the Doghouse Live show. Anytime I turn my phone on and it's like, hey, we're just going to chat, guys. There's the usual suspects that kind of all show up. But then depending on day and time, you're going to find a lot of other people that are just roaming around, especially if you make the video public, because then anyone can just kind of stumble across it and come on in and be like, okay, who's this dork in the Batman shirt and what's he talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, we had one of those videos where you were signing cards, and I think we talked about the NFL for the better part of an hour and a half. Yeah. And there was a lot of interaction on that video. Oh, and by the way, it's at 2 a.m. Like,
right.
It's the middle of the night.
Yeah, I'm basically always up till about 2 a.m. That's just what it is. Doing something. I'm either working or I'm decompressing from work. Like last night, I was up till about 2. I was watching Psycho 2. I don't know how that happened, but I was like, okay, we'll watch Psycho 2. And then I was up till 2 a.m. and then I went to bed. So I decompressed with Psycho 2.
Let's talk about that. You have a very eclectic taste in films and that kind of thing and TV.
Sure.
I'm like a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is what people would call lower tier.
Am I being judged right now?
Is not is not Dances with Wolves or something.
I
So
like Dances with Wolves.
I understand. I get it, and that's what I was going to ask you: is where do you think that comes from, and does that influence your writing?
Oh, totally. I mean, if you look at everything that I write, I am not a one genre person. I am superheroes. I am westerns. I am theology. I am horror. I am everywhere. I am kaiju. I am real life, slice of life stuff. Everything that I do is across the board, and I've always been like that. Even when I watch TV and movies and whatever, it didn't matter what it was. It wasn't that I was like a horror guy. It wasn't that I was like a sci-fi guy because I like Star Wars. It's just I liked what I liked, of course, obviously, which is how it should be, by the way. Like what you like. But yeah, I weird thing is I'm not a Psycho fan. Like I liked the original, it was okay, but I don't know how I got to Psycho 2. It just was there. And I said, okay, let's just turn it on and let's roll with it. And it ended up being really good, actually. Meg Tilly was in it and Robert Loggia. And it's just like, what is going on in this film? So it was cool. So I had a good time. So, I try and keep myself open to as much as I can because my writing is across the board. So everything that I watch or listen to can potentially influence what I want to do in what I do.
So we got some comments here. Mike says that you get affordable covers, multiple options to choose, solid storytelling and art in every issue. And he goes that he's talking about how that impresses him.
Sure.
Trish says that you're the rabbit that she followed to find us.
Yeah, I follow down the rabbit hole. Yeah, she finds one thing and then you just kind of see where it goes and you find all kinds of stuff that goes along with it. Yep. Absolutely.
It's how I end up watching videos at 3 a.m. of kids playing the public pianos at London airports or English airports.
Or dudes in Africa like building pools with sticks. Yeah.
Yeah. That and TikTok, man. And then we have Heroinberg says, love the art on your books, Tom. Really beautiful Zenoscope Aspen feel. Is Critter available to order through stores? I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, nothing that we have is available through stores unless it is a store that is dealing directly with us. Jesse James Comics, Comics and More in Detroit. Yes, Jen has our books. Creative Comics in Indiana. There are stores that deal direct with us, but we are not in the Diamond system. We left that system a few years ago and have focused primarily on Kickstarters and direct sale from me to you types of selling. So if you're interested in Critter, you can go to bigdoginc.com, click on the comics section. There's a Critter section. It'll open it up. Everything that we have available for Critter is right there. Trade paperbacks if you just want to read the books. If you want variant covers, we have variant covers. And that goes for all the books that we do. Everything we have is on the website. But our distribution is primarily Kickstarters, conventions when we have conventions again, and just direct sales, our website, and so on.
I will say, if you were thinking about getting into Big Dog Ink books, just know that the fans that Tom has, despite him saying that he's not a personality, are pretty serious about it. So if there's ever something that's like a special cover that he indicates in any way is limited, you should not hesitate because they will just disappear. They'll be gone.
Yeah, we just had our first Catter Day of the year. That's a new thing that we're doing. The first Saturday of every month is Catter Day. So we release a new Critter variant cover. Good portion of those are gone. We'll have our second one in, I think it's February 6th is the next Catter Day. So that's something that we'll be doing to have some fun throughout the year. Goth Day will be back this year. We did some specialty days last year. We had Princess Day. We had Bikini Day. Just had some really ridiculous fun with doing variants and presenting some really awesome art. And we're going to do some of that this year as well as the Kickstarters.
We've talked about this before, so I'm trying to figure out a way to ask the question in my head without asking the same question I've asked you before.
Okay.
Can you explain to people out there why you distribute the way you distribute? So stores that order directly from you, why you've gone away from the Diamond system, that kind of thing. Because I think, one, it's really interesting, and two, we here at the Experience love the direct market,
Sure.
But the direct market and publishers are the way they work together is changing, and I think you're kind of on the forefront of that. And so,
well, it's its own podcast, really. But the bottom line is that if there are 2,000 comic book stores going through Diamond, just to pick a number, only about 500 of them buy indie books in any kind of real quantity. The rest of the stores might buy one or two just for their if someone happens to ask for it. So, we were never really finding huge support, and that's not just to say Big Dog Inc. That's kind of across the board on the indies. We weren't finding huge support from the retail side of things. So when it came time to kind of make some decisions about how are we going to do this, where are we going to go, what's the plan, the fans and the buyers were always at the top of the list. Because if you don't have them, whether you're me or whether you're a retail store, if you don't have people buying comics, you do not have a business. And so we just decided, look, let's figure out a way to not just sell books to the fans, but engage them and in some cases make them part of the process of what's happening. And so we just made the decision, like, let's try a Kickstarter. We did that, what is now almost 4 years ago. We did our first Kickstarter. It was a huge success. We followed it up 3 months later with another one. It was another huge success. And I just felt like, you know what, this is what we needed as a brand, as a kick in the pants, and just to kind of get out of doing things the normal way, whatever the normal way is. And so while we're not anti-comic book store, far from it, I've been working with Jesse James here at his shop for like 5 years. Like I said, we deal direct with a number of stores across the country. And when the COVID thing happened and all the comic books distribution stopped from Diamond, we actually sent out to like 100 different stores just care packages. Like, look, here are books. It's on us. We're not charging you. We're paying for the shipping. It's on us. Take them, put them in your store, sell them, give them away, whatever you want to do. We're supporting the retail side of things because we don't want the direct market to go away. But for us, it's just not a viable place to really brand yourself. It is sort of a marketing opportunity because if you can get in stores, it allows more eyeballs to file on your project or on your book, especially like at Space Cadets. The way that Jen has all of her kiosks set up is freaking brilliant. You got Scout, you got Valiant, you've got Zenoscope, whatever. It's awesome. But most of the time you go into a store and it's just, hey, here's your book, and all you're seeing is that like this, because it's all just overlaid on it. And I'm like, dude, I just spent money on that J. Scott Campbell cover. Show the cover, for God's sakes. This is how you sell books, because people are going to look at a title and it might grab their attention. But if you have a title plus art, it changes the game. But the retail side of things is not changing fast enough, or at least at where we were a few years ago, for us to be like, okay, we're just diving back into mainstream.
Right. And like I said, I think you're kind of on the cutting edge of that. I will sell directly to any retailer who wants to.
Yeah.
And it's the retailers that do carry Big Dog Inc. I'm thinking I've seen what Jen's store looks like. I know what Jesse's store looks like. I know what Comics and More looks like.
Yep.
The people who do carry it, it's prominent in their stores because of that, I think. And so I think this idea of, hey, look, it's not going to be as easy necessarily as just putting in your Diamond order, but we're going to provide you a better quality book. We're going to provide you gorgeous cover art that are going to attract people into your store and attract buyers. And, oh, by the way, you don't have to hop through any of the hoops to get it. Really, it does entice quite a lot of people.
I would hope so. And I mean, the people that buy our books, the retailers, they're happy. They know they're moving stuff. They have their fan base, their buyers that are like, okay, where's the next BDI book? And I'm like, okay, we'll get it in your hands. No problem. Easy.
One of the other things that I think makes BDI really, really unique is the stable of cover artists. You work with a lot of cover artists who you've been working with for years,
sure,
who are, more and more the names in cover art. Mike Crome, Nia Rufino, J. Scott Campbell, obviously. I mean, So, what do you look for when you're looking for a cover artist? What, because you seem to have a knack for finding these great artists.
I just want. I mean, I'm a comic book buyer myself. I buy comics, so on the art side, I want to see something that makes my eyeballs go, "Whoa, dude! You got to be kidding me! How did you do that?" And I want to take those guys and put them on my covers because then I know my buyers will be like, "Dude, whoa! How did you do that?" And that's it. It's the trickle down effect. You know, somebody makes awesome art. I see it. I geek on it, and then I take the next step and put it on my cover so that they can geek on it. And that's it. I like different styles. I'm not stuck in one style. I love paint. We did painted stuff very, very early on in our first couple of years, back when doing painted covers was kind of rare. Like you had kind of the Joe Giscos occasionally and those kinds of guys, which were great. I love Joe Gisco. Joe Chiodo, by the way, Joe Chiodo is on our Kickstarter today. I'm freaking out on Joe Chiodo covers. I love Joe. Joe is such a great guy. I've never met him, but he's awesome from talking on Facebook. So painted covers and just, you know, styles that aren't sort of the norm are very cool to me. And then the people that just come in and like really commit. Like Mike Crome just did a piece that we haven't even debuted yet. And I'm like, dude, I think I need to own that original piece because it's like ridiculous what you did to it. So it's just, I want cool art, man. I want things that are going to really catch the eye. If you happen to be a social media guru as well with your stuff, like for example, the Steph Wilson, who really is great at promoting the stuff when he's on it, that's even better because then I know I can say, hey, I'm going to put this guy on my cover. Not only is he going to attract attention from that, but he's also going to be, or she, he's also going to be like, yeah, I did this thing for Big Dog. Go find the book and get it. That's the icing on the cake right there. But I just want awesome stuff. I mean, I know what I like, and that doesn't mean that everybody likes what I like, but I know what I like, and I just try and translate that down to the fans through the books that we do.
I'm going to come out of left field. Who you got in the Super Bowl?
Oh, geez, man. I don't even know who's winning tomorrow.
That's fair.
Listen, today it's going to be the Packers, and on the second game, I'm going to give you a weird stat to watch. I'm going to tell you that the winner of that game will be whichever quarterback has the most rushing yards, because both of those guys like to take off and run, and whoever runs the most is gonna end up winning that game. I'm picking the Bills as a loose pick. Whoever has the most quarterback is going to win that game.
I'm going to make a prediction. If the Browns somehow beat the Chiefs, Ohio will not exist next week.
Ohio will melt down. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, we will shake this thing into Lake Erie if the Browns manage to, pull one off. But I ask you about football because it's one of those people seem to when we start talking about comics.
Yeah,
it's all we talk about.
Yeah,
but everybody has so many interests and so many varied interests, and it's amazing the number of shared interests we have that are outside of the industry.
Yeah, well, we run a fantasy football league every year for Big Dog Inc. fans. So
I've played in it poorly the last 2 years. I've not done particularly well. Tom's fantasy football league has some wild rules, and it's hard to keep. It's hard to keep up sometimes. We got a Super Bowl pick.
Clippers. It's a good thought process.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. Shout out. I'm just gonna take a second. Shout out to Brainy. Brainy is spinning on our after party tonight at 10 Eastern, only on our Twitch channel. So make sure you check that out. Just because he commented. Anyhow, back to the things. But it's the shared interests, and Jen's been asking this of people, and I think it's a great question. And I talked to Howard Chaykin about food for way longer than I expected to talk to Howard Chaykin about food.
Glorious.
So, Howard will talk to you way longer than you expect about anything. I mean, Howard will go deep.
We started talking about restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, like naming actual restaurants and be like, have you been to the one on this street? Like, it got very specific. Yeah. But my question is this: what weird or what unknown like super talent do you have? Secret talent?
Oh, I'm a personality, obviously. That's the
Everybody
secret.
knows you do that.
The secret is I'm a personality. Who knew? I didn't know. You guys just told me today. I didn't know. What's my secret? I don't know. I mean, because I come on and I tell everybody everything. So I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, we know I'm a home theater guru, obviously, already. We know I have great taste in movies. That's a given. You know, I don't know. I got good hair. You don't always see it, but I got good hair. It's back here.
You definitely beat me. Man, I should not have taken my hat off. I am entirely too pale. I look like an egg. It's real bad.
It's like Egghead from Batman, dude.
Steph's ears must have been burning. No, it's so 10th anniversary this year. We talked about that already. What should people be looking for going forward? You just launched the Wicked West.
Yep.
Kickstarter. What else do you have coming in the next year?
So the year is basically planned out, and we don't tell everybody what's happening because we like the thought process that it's sort of off the cuff, and it's like, oh, we're just doing a thing now. But we have Oz 3 times this year. We're going to be doing a complete story arc through three Kickstarters. Critter will be back in March. Like I said, we are going to be doing our specialty days. We're not going to announce which ones they are yet because they're a little bit ways off. But the artists for those things are already basically in play. Last year was our 10-year anniversary, as well as the movie Showgirls 25th anniversary. And so we actually did a Penny for Your Soul Showgirls tribute book where we did a completely brand new set of pinups that were all based on the Showgirls movie, but they used Penny for Your Soul characters in the pinup books. It was super popular. It was really great. It came out fantastic. So we are doing another one of those BDI anniversary film crossover pinup books. That will be later in the year too. So there's a lot going on.
Trying to think if I know of any movies that are having an anniversary this year.
Oh, there's plenty that have an anniversary this year.
Sure. I'm just trying to think of any that I know because we've talked about your taste in film.
Oh yeah. No, you won't guess this one.
No. All right. It's not Godzilla?
No, it is not Godzilla. Godzilla had his anniversary last year.
Oh, there you go.
65th was last year.
Okay. Wow.
Mike James, I think we live in the same universe because that's exactly what I'm thinking right now.
What happened? What did he have?
Mike James has got.
Oh, the Tetris? Yeah. I'm great at Tetris too. That's another superpower.
My OC is going off really hardcore for this month.
So we've been talking for a little while, and I'm not doing my job. It's you, and it's me and Jen and you and hanging out, and we just start talking. Tell people where they can find you on the social medias. Tell people where they can buy the things.
Yeah. So most of what we do, perfectly honestly, is Facebook. We invite you guys to come to Facebook. We have a Big Dog Inc. fan page. There's my own personal page, of course. You're welcome to friend me up. And then on, if you want to do the Twitter or the Instagram, we are the same on both. It's BDI Comics. And then if you want to buy the things, go to bigdoginc.com, of course. That'll take you to the store. Or right now, we would love to have you as part of the Kickstarter. We're already at about almost 140 backers in, 4.5 hours? Just about $9,000. It's going great. There are amazing variant covers there. Like I said, Joe Kyoto, Monty Moore, Shannon Mayer. Oh my God, I'm going to forget people. Carlos Reno, Bun Leung, Nia Rufino, on and on and on. There's some great stuff there. So go check out Kickstarter for sure. But if you just want to follow us, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, that is kind of where we hang out the most.
And Patreon.
Oh, and Patreon. Yes. And Patreon. Yes.
Tom, I got to tell you, I got a DM from one of our regular viewers.
Yeah.
That never gets to see you because they must not come on whenever you come on real late. And she's basically saying that you're so funny and lively and ever so modest.
Who is that? Do I know who that is?
Val NJ.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. If you're gonna be live on these things, you can't be stale. And if anyone's watching this video and you're thinking, hey, I'm a comic book guy or whatever you are, entertainer, artist, whatever, and you're thinking, yeah, I need to learn how to do this, just try and enjoy yourself with it. Don't panic. Don't be one of those, like we always see on movies and stuff, where somebody's going to be put on TV, right? And they're about to go on, and somebody's like, don't worry that there's a million people watching you. It doesn't matter. All you're doing is looking at the camera. And in my case, the two people that are here, that's it. That's the audience. And then from there, every now and then someone will drop in a comment and you can respond to it. But just go loose, man. And don't worry about being like hyper professional. I mean, look, I look like junk, and I apologize. I actually have a shirt in the car, but I'm living in a different time zone, so things went sideways. But just roll with it, let it happen, and just have fun with it. Because if you're not having fun, your audience is not having fun.
I'll give everybody out there in TV land a little inside baseball here. On top of my camera, I have a Charizard action figure, and that's actually what I look at.
Yeah, so that you look at the camera. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Right. So it looks like I'm looking at the camera, and then behind that, I have a wall with questions to ask people if I run out of things to talk to them about.
Nice.
So I'm always looking at my camera, even if I'm not actually looking at my camera. So if there's a million people watching, I don't know. It's a Charizard. So
I prefer Moltres, just so we know. I'm a Moltres guy.
Okay.
That's a new question we're going to start asking. Jesse!
He's gone.
Did I see Jesse?
He's gone.
Yeah, he just photobombed.
He gone.
That's a new question we're going to start asking everybody. Favorite Pokemon?
Yep.
It's important.
It's Moltres. Not only that, but I'm a Pokemon champion. I won a Pokemon tournament with my Moltres deck. So I have a trophy and everything.
There's my scrap.
Caught them all?
I caught the 40 people that were in the tournament.
There you go.
It was enough for me. I retired after that. I was like, okay, we're done with the Pokemon tournaments now. I have my trophy.
It's true. So you've got a chance to work with some pretty amazing artists.
Oh yeah.
Over the years. Is there someone out there that you haven't had a chance to work with yet that's kind of on your dream list?
Of course. Basically, there's two at the top. One I will never get, and the other is maybe possible, but still difficult. And basically, 1 and 1A is Todd McFarlane and Arthur Adams. That is my 1 and 1A at the top of my art list. I've loved Todd's stuff forever. I have loved art stuff forever. I can't get enough of them. So those are my hyper super bucket list dudes. But there's plenty of people that I would love to work with. Both older guys from when I was growing up, the 80s and 90s with comics, and newer people too. I mean, like we just lost Steve Lytle. I've known, well, I haven't known Steve, but I've known of Steve's work for many years. So there's guys that have been around a long time that I would love to be like, hey, can we do a thing? Like I was talking to Carl Moline last year about potentially coming on and doing something if schedules provided. I would love to get. Here's another one. Here's A, B, and C. Mark Schultz from Xenozoic Tales. I would freaking love to get something from him. So yeah, no, I'm a big art fan in general. I used to be an art dealer. Not like a strict dealer, but I was a art collector, and I would occasionally flip some of the stuff that I had and buy new pages. So I've been in art for a long time, and I think that's helped me in the art direction side of doing Big Dog Ink stuff.
So Big Dog Ink has its stable of titles. It's
sure.
You've got a number of titles that you come out with regularly. Is there one that you've been kicking around for a while and you haven't done yet?
Oh, dude, there's like 5 in my head right now that I'm thinking about. Like as we're talking, I'm like, and we could do that, and we could do that, and we could do that. Like that's the mind of the writer right there. It never stops. I literally have at least 3 projects that are back burner, but actually I'm taking notes and trying to figure out, okay, how do we do it? When do we do it? Who am I going to do it with? Always.
So, as a writer and a publisher,
Yep.
when you come up with an idea,
Yep.
how do you decide if you're going to publish it or not, or do you just do it because you're the guy? You make that.
I just do it. Literally,
Yeah.
I just do it. There is nobody. There's nobody above me that I have to like take my pitch to. If I feel strongly enough about it that I want to do it, that to me tells me that it should be done. And then I just start to develop it out. Like, how am I going to do the book? When am I going to do it? Who's the artist? What kind of covers do I want to do for it? On and on and on and on and on. So as soon as something clicks with me, it's basically goes into the fast track to happen within probably a year or so, assuming everything, all the dominoes fall properly.
Sure. Does your creative process change based on what you know about how the publication schedule is going to go?
Not really, because we do it's an advantage and a disadvantage doing Kickstarters, because the advantage is things move a little slower because you're doing them quarterly, so on and so on, versus like, hey, we're doing 3 books monthly, like let's get our crap together and put these books out. So it's a plus because you can really kind of take your time and really tool these things into something that are special. But the flip side of that is, of course, you're doing them quarterly and you're not putting out 3 books a month, which is kind of what everybody wants to do is have those monthly books, because the fan base is like, dude, I want that next chapter. I got to read that book. And I get it. I totally get it. And that's why we're actively trying to figure out ways of producing these Kickstarters within an infrastructure that moves a little bit faster. Like, instead of doing 30 or 40-day campaigns, we've now pared them down to like 3-week campaigns, and which will just, we do 3 weeks. We have a couple of weeks of surveys, and we try and get the books out. So we're trying to actively change speed above all else, because the sooner we have that faster infrastructure, the sooner we can be like, okay, we've done this, now we can do this, now we can do this, now we can do this, and so on.
And that was going to be the next question, is because you do the faster Kickstarters, you do the 15, 21-day Kickstarters, does that affect the way you have to approach things? Do you have to have more of the work done ahead of time?
Yeah. Because the whole point of doing a shorter Kickstarter is to get the book out faster. If you're shaving your actual campaign time in half, then you should be picking up that couple of weeks on the back end to be moving the book faster. That's all theoretical, and you have to have a team in place to be able to, like, okay, this is happening. And right now, that team is me. There's very little that isn't me, which is another part of the infrastructure that we're going to be trying to build this year, is getting extra people to help with do this, so that Tom can do the things that only he can do, which is the creative side, the art direction, and so on. All of the shipping and I just packaged and shipped 600 Princesses vs. Zombies comics, or orders, I should say, from the Kickstarter from last year. So that was all me. I touched every single one of those things. But the problem is that as I'm packaging 600 packages, I'm not writing, not art directing, I'm not building the campaigns. And those are the things that only I can do. So I need to build some infrastructure to take some of the labor side of things away from me, whether it's social media or actual physical, like packaging of books, so that I can focus on the creative and keep all the artists moving, efficiently, and everybody's on deadline and so on.
So what does that look like? I mean,
it looks like this.
Growing the
it looks like this crappy shirt and boxes. This is what it looks like. This is the life of Big Dog Inc.
I mean, growing the infrastructure that you're talking about doing. I mean, it's obviously growing the company.
Yeah.
How do you plan something like that? I mean, what are your?
I don't know.
Obviously, you're going to figure it out as you go.
I don't know. I mean, basically, you look at places. You look at larger publishing houses, whether it's guys like Scout or Vault, or even like Zenoscope, Aspen, and so on. They have groups of people that they all have their job. You have, this guy writes, this guy edits, This guy does graphic design. This guy is in charge of the printer, whatever it happens to be. So that's what I need. Is I need to start getting a few people to help take some of the it's not easy, but it is the easier stuff off my plate, because those are the people that can't write the books. Those are the people that can't draw the books. They can't color the books. They can't edit the books. So I need the people to take some of that sort of the labor side of things away from me, so that I can focus on the creative. That's kind of where we got to be.
Sure. But as you look at the growth of the company, which is, coming out of 2020, talking about growth of a company is pretty substantial and pretty outstanding.
So we had a great 2020.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, we had a great 2020. I mean, it was fantastic. And here's the thing, it wasn't as fantastic as it could have been, because we didn't get to do our shows. We didn't get to go spread the 10-year anniversary across the country and all that. So it wasn't as good as it could have been, but Big Dog still had a good 2020 as a whole.
Right. So, but coming into 2021, do you benchmark for growth?
Oh, yeah.
You start looking at what you did last year and say, how can we do 10% more?
Yeah.
Or 150% more?
Yeah. Well, it's with us, it's kind of easy. It's because, again, we do these Kickstarters. That's our primary method of producing these books. I know what the Legend of Oz Kickstarter did last time. I know how many backers we had. I know how much money we did. So we come back here and we say, we're doing Legend of Oz again. We need to have more backers and we need to do more money. And we need to do it again. And then we need to do it again. And we need to do it again. That's what happened with Penny for Your Soul. We grew Penny for Your Soul from little under 200 backers, a little under 300 backers, and we did about $16,000 on that first one, all the way up to Penny for Your Soul number 7. We had 580 backers, and we did 30,000 on the last one. So we had incremental growth through the series when we started, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so that's what we need to see on all of our books as we do them. Oz needs to be better than it was the last time each time we do it, and we start to see that little bit of incremental growth.
Jen, we're running short on time. Do you have any questions for Tom? Do you want to embarrass Tom in any way?
Why would I want to do that? He definitely won a lot of fans when he came and visited the shop. So I was super thankful that he took the time to be able to come through when he was coming through town, to be able to stop and be able to engage with my customers. Because I think that there's this weird misunderstanding about Big Dog Inc. and to a larger extent that extends to other companies like Zenoscope, that what is on the cover is what the book is. So if you have a really pretty girl on the cover that looks attractive in any way, it's just a tart book and it doesn't have any story. But it's so not the truth in both cases. So they're both strong female protagonist books. They just happen to have a better clothes budget than all of us.
Yeah. And that's, it's one of those things that that people really need to understand, and it's not difficult to explain it, but people still don't wrap their heads around it. Comics are not one market. There is a retail market, there is a convention market, there's an online market, there's an art market, both for covers and interiors. There's markets for everything. And if you as a publisher, writer, creator, whatever, are coming in and saying, well, I just want people to read my book and that's all I want, I'm going to sell this one cover and that's it, more power to you. But I'm going to tell you right now that you open the doors to more people reading your book if you're putting out a couple of artistic variant covers with artists that have some sort of name value. I'm not talking go Todd McFarlane or Jim Lee or anything, but there are plenty of guys that are approachable, that do amazing work, that have fan bases that follow them. And if you put them on your book as a variant cover and you say, hey, I've got whoever, Mike Crome fans will come and be like, oh, what is it? I want to know what it is. And immediately you've opened up another door to people finding your product and then reading it. But ultimately, let me ask you this. If you made a comic and somebody came up to you and said, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to put my money in your hand so that you can go home and pay your bills, but I only am buying it for the cover.
Who cares?
I still got the money, right?
Right.
I sold
the book. It brought them joy.
I sold the book and you're happy with what you got. That's a win-win, guys. Don't be afraid of variants. Use them to your advantage. I mean, that's literally what they are. And for me, I love art so much that, listen, Shannon Mayer is doing covers right now. Guess who did his first ever cover? This guy. There are dudes that do art that without doing variant covers, you would not know who they are, because that's all they do is covers, is cover work. There's tons of people that just do cover work, and they deserve to be seen as much as anybody else. And it just opens more artistic doors to more people, and that's why we do what we do.
Any other question? Any other things you wanted to ask him, Jen?
No. So I'm excited for when we can move freely about the country. And
Yeah, definitely.
So my last question, and I've been saving it.
Oh my God.
It's a good
doozy.
Well, no, it's just a doozy because of how well we know each other.
Okay.
But before we get to it, give everybody the socials again.
Sure.
Give everybody the links.
Yeah, Facebook is our primary source of social media. Come join me on my page. Come join the Big Dog Inc. group. Whatever you like, come do it. Twitter and Instagram are both the same, BDI Comics. And then, of course, there's Patreon, which is patreon.com/Big Dog Inc. We do all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff for you guys. You get to watch the art get made, from lines to inks to colors. We show you logos that we're doing. You get debuting of new projects before anyone else sees it. Anyone who's there for 6 months, and we've done this twice now, anyone who's there for 6 months gets a free comic. Just, here's a comic, guys. Thank you for coming. It's an exclusive members-only variant comic that they get. We've done that twice. So all kinds of good fun on Patreon as well.
Okay, this is the last question. And it's not the last question, but it's the last question.
Okay.
If I were to say, Tom, I'm going to hand Big Dog Inc. the keys to the Godzilla line, what story are you telling?
Oh, I have a Godzilla story. I have one that has never been told in any capacity. And if IDW is interested, I'll write the book.
as long as it's not the one about the little white fuzzy thing they carry on the picnic basket in Mothra 2 that pees on them to heal them.
No. I have a Godzilla story that has never been touched upon in as far as context within the world. 100%, I have one. It's ready to go. Anytime IDW wants to come talk to me, we'll put that out there for you. Oh, and incidentally, Universal, everybody's talking about remaking Jaws or whatever. Forget that. I have a Jaws 5 for you. I have a script for Jaws 5. If Universal wants a Jaws 5 to wrap up your franchise, I'm here for you too.
All right. The real last question is that we've talked extensively about your presence at conventions. Mm-hmm. And we don't have conventions yet. Hopefully by the end of 2021 we're allowed to have conventions again.
Yeah.
But you have built a very strong brand at conventions, both as Big Dog Inc. but as Tom. Can you talk about the way you think about how you should present yourself and how you should present your brand at conventions? I know we have a lot of young creators who are watching and paying attention, and I think it's worth knowing.
That's another podcast in and of itself too. I mean, we actually just changed our we got to do one show last year. It was Albuquerque Comic-Con. They were nice enough to invite us out and give us an end cap, which was fantastic because we completely changed our setup last year. And it's all visual. I mean, comics are visual, guys. I know you writers are out there are like, I want them to read my book. I'm like, yeah, dude, but you know what? You're not going to have a banner behind you with your words on it. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So that's where your art comes in. You need to have dramatic, eye-catching art so that when somebody walks by your booth and they don't know who you are or what you do, they can look up at that banner and go, yo, what is that? That looks cool. And then immediately that's your icebreaker. You don't even have to say anything to them. It's just, hey, that's cool. What is that? Hey, I'm the writer of this book and blah, 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 blah. It all starts with the presentation behind you and, of course, how you put your books on the table as well. we actually set it up. We have a 3-tier system now. We have huge banners behind us with amazing art. I mean, I'm talking about 10-foot banners, okay? So you should be seeing that first as you walk up to the booth. Then as you look down the banners, right on the table, we have original art standing up. So those are about, what, like 1.5 feet off the table, the original art. The banners take you right down and you're looking at the original art. You're like, whoa, that's cool. And then that takes you right down, and right underneath that original art is the book that you just looked at. So we actually created a visual system to drag your eyes all the way down to the table without me having to say anything to you. You literally can just kind of watch and just do that. And then as soon as they're looking at the book, you pounce and and you're in, because they're clearly, if they're doing all of that work to look at everything that's happening, they're interested. And now you've got your opening. So make it happen.
All right, Tom, thank you. I'm sorry for dragging you away from the important work of playing Tetris with Jesse and, hanging out in the shop. But I'm so glad you're able to come on. Guys, head over to all the Big Dog Inc. Stuff. Make sure you follow them. Make sure you like their page. Make sure you buy some books. Back the Kickstarter. Guys, the Kickstarter is funded.
Yeah,
so if you back it, you're just contributing to getting more coolness.
That's correct.
All that can happen is it gets better from here.
That's right.
It's
The
all
more
they can
money
have.
we get, the more stretch goals we unlock. That's free trading cards, stickers, poker chips, mini prints, just free bonus stuff just for joining us.
Thank you to Tom. Thank you to Jen for hanging out. We're gonna take a quick break here for just about 1.5 minutes, and we'll be back with Team Floppy Cop from First Point Press here on EXP Expo Day 1.
Thank you.